Hi, I'm Peter Tragos, host of the Lawyer You Know podcast and YouTube channel. The saying goes, everyone hates lawyers until you need one. Well, I'm here when you need one to answer your questions and give you insight that you didn't know you needed. Today we break down whether or not Shannon Sharpe broke the law. It could have criminal and civil liability for calling and recording Julio Jones without his knowledge or consent on his sports show. So for those of you who don't follow the sports world, Julio Jones has some trade rumors and trade requests flying around. He's the wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons right now as we're recording this video. And Shannon Sharpe, ex-NFL superstar, is on a show on FS1 with Skip Bayless called Undisputed or something like that. And he has connections with all these players in the league since, in fact, he is a Hall of Fame type player. So while on the show, he calls Julio Jones. It's a shtick. He's got his cell phone out. Hey, Julio, what's going on? We're about to watch the video. But nowhere in the video does he tell Julio Jones he's on air and recording what Julio Jones says. So let's listen in.
We call? Okay, we're calling.
You watching, Julio?
Really hope he answers here.
Julio, have the guts to pick up the phone.
What's happening?
Yeah.
All right.
Julio. Hold on. Let me put you on. Can you hear me?
I got you. This is your favorite uncle. What's going on, bro?
Man, nothing much. About to go meet up with my brother. What's happening with you?
Man, look. You want to go to the Cowboys, Julio? Or you want to stay in Atlanta?
Oh, man, I'm out of there, man.
You out
He's out of there.
of there? Are you going to... Ideally, where would you like to go?
First off, I can't believe that he wouldn't have told Julio this was happening before the show. Like, he knows him. He's friendly with him. I mean, Julio knows he does this show. If you're friends with Shannon Sharpe, you know he does this show with Skip Bayless. It's a big sports show. But Skip Bayless's face, he's like, he couldn't believe Julio actually said, I'm out of there. And he says, I'm out of there, which is breaking news in the sports world. Everybody's so obsessed with trades and obsessed with the NFL. So he says something like, I'm out of there. It hits Twitter. It hits every sports channel. Everybody's talking about this and playing this. It's big news in sports. People made a lot of money based on that one sentence because they can explode it in the blogosphere, and now everybody's reading and talking about FS1. Pretty crazy. Let's just watch the rest of the interview real quick.
Right now, I want to win.
Okay. Well, don't go to Dallas. If you go to, you ain't winning in Dallas, Julio.
Man, listen, come on, man. You already know I know.
Okay.
Can you remind him we're on television
Ask
right
him
now?
why we wore the Dallas.
Listen. You know how people listen.
So one of the other hosts or producers, whoever that female voice was, says, do you want to remind him we're on television? Why do you think she said that? Let me tell you why. In Florida, there is a two-party consent rule for any recordings. It is unlawful and illegal to record any other party without their consent, unless it's in public, and you have your cell phone, you're filming the streets, and people don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy. But you can't just call somebody and record them on your cell phone. We have tons of clients who say, oh, I called and I talked to the defendant and I have the whole thing recorded. We say, well, we can't use that recording because that could potentially be a crime. And because it's a crime and because you could have civil liability, you could go to prison and you could be subject to a civil or criminal fine, and somebody could sue you for damages. If Julio Jones's value plummets and he can't get traded, he can't sign a new deal because he said this on air and now everybody hates him because he sounds like a showboater, he could sue Shannon Sharpe for recording this conversation without Julio Jones' knowledge, which was confirmed when the producer or whoever it was said, do you want to remind me he's on TV? And all the sports shows, and everybody's been talking about it, it seems like Julio Jones really didn't know he was being recorded, which is shocking to me that this billion-dollar industry of the NFL and the multi-million-dollar industry run by FS1, which is Fox Sports, wouldn't have checked these boxes, wouldn't have dotted these I's and crossed these T's. They're just letting Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless go rogue and do whatever they want. It's shocking to me with how much money is involved here.
Man, with all that going on with the picture.
Yeah.
And all that, stuff like that.
Okay.
Man, I ain't never been on that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's good enough. Julio, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling me back. We on air, but I appreciate you calling me, dog. You know I know my nephew was going to pick up.
Oh, yeah, nah. Yeah. I ain't going to Dallas, man. I never thought about going to that.
Okay. I appreciate that, bro. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Now he might not have any choice.
I told you about that.
Okay, and the reason there's so much Dallas talk, if you care, is because Skip Bayless is a Cowboys fan. Not that that matters. But right there at the end, Shannon Sharpe did say, we're on air, man, so I got to go. So he does tell him right there at the very end, and Julio didn't seem to care. So it depends. There's a lot of little intricacies in here as to whether or not a crime was committed, whether or not there's any civil liability. So number one, is this actually going live because the show says it's live? Is it actually live, or is it tape delayed? And by the time the recording went out on the air, did Shannon Sharpe tell him it was recorded and Julio Jones was fine with it and said, yeah, he didn't tell him he couldn't put it out there? It depends on the definition of consent and what's needed. Is him just not disputing it fine because Shannon Sharpe said I'm on air and then he played it? Julio Jones knows that the show's recorded. He knows what on air means, right? Did he have to say, can I play this recording on air? I'm recording you for the TV show to play it. Did he have to do all that? That's going to be something for the lawyers to figure out if this does go further. It doesn't seem like Julio Jones pressing charges. Doesn't seem like any criminal actions actually coming. We're just breaking it down from a legal perspective because that's what we do. But Shannon Sharpe wouldn't even necessarily be the only one liable. FS1 is his employer, and Shannon Sharpe is working in the scope and course of his employment for FS1 when he did this. FS1 is the one that plays this recording. FS1 is the one that's making the money off of all this, and then they're paying Shannon Sharpe. So they would be liable too. FS1 could have some liability in this case. It's crazy. This is so unprecedented that there's potentially laws being broken on national TV from some sports show. And I said, Florida is a two-party consent system. So is California, which is where this show is recorded. And according to State Penal Code 632, California requires all parties' consent to amplify or record confidential communication. The penalty for violating the law is a fine of up to $2,500 and or a year in jail. So most of you don't care what the laws are in Florida, which is what I started with because that's what I know. But the laws in California, which would actually apply in this case, are just as severe as the laws in Florida. You can't do this stuff. You could pay $2,500, get fined, go to prison for a year. That's serious stuff just to get a soundbite for a sports show. So we'll see what happens. Let me know. Do you think anything's going to come from this? Do you think we'll see any civil liability? Do you think we'll see any criminal action taken? I think we'll see some fine, like they've got to pay some fine to some regulating agency, or maybe the NFL will fine Julio Jones or fine Shannon Sharpe. Who the heck knows? I think we'll see some slap on the wrist. I don't think we'll see anything serious come from it. It's really interesting when we see laws being broken literally on live national TV. And when we do, we've got to break it down. People asked, and we came with the answer. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe to our page, please. Like the video, comment, let us know what you think is going to happen. And if you see any videos or stuff like this happening in the news, especially the sports world, you know I love that. Let me know and I'll do a video on it. Thanks for watching this episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you like this content, please share it with your friends. Make sure you subscribe to our page and like our videos. If you want some interaction, get in the comments and we'll be sure to get back to you. If you want to know any more information about our firm or this page, you can find out in the description or visit tragoslaw.com. We post multiple times throughout the week, so make sure you hit that bell so you can get the notification and not miss out on the next episode.